Team 3.
Yes. Jose Santillano heard the alarms and opened his front door. He saw the tornado bearing down on his house in Blue Ridge in rural Collin County. He yelled for his wife to grab the baby and 3 other kids. They hid in the bathroom. The tornado lifted the small, blue single-story house, spinning it in the air before hurling it to the ground, 40 feet away in pieces. Santillano, frantic, called an uncle in Dallas. "Help me, my kids are lying around broken, and I can't find my baby," he said. His baby girl, Aaliyah, died. She was only 3 days old. This is one of the many tragic stories that have been reported to the Dallas News because of the Dallas tornado that happened last year in 2015. It is one of the many tragic stories, and these are our local neighbors and community members. It is a problem that we are facing currently, and it needs to be addressed. So we are Allstate. My name is Jemima Nasser. I'm the financial specialist.
I'm Rebecca Mers. I'm head of PR.
My name is Arva Khan, and I am the PR coordinator.
And I'm Jocelyn Garcia, and I am the event coordinator.
The program that we're going to be talking about today is Don't Get Blown Away, and this is our slogan, and this is our logo. All right, so a little bit about who we are and what we do. We are a personal lines insurer company, and we are the largest publicly held insurance company, which basically means that we have shares in the stockhold market, in the stock market, my bad. The idea of Allstate basically came in the 1930s when it was broker Carl L. O'Deal who basically talked to his neighbor Wood about this idea of doing auto insurance and delivering it by mail. Wood really liked the idea and proposed that idea to the Sears board of directors, and they really liked that idea because it was really innovative, and at that time no one had thought of that. So they gave that idea to Carl O'Deal, and that is how Sears became what it is. Allstate became what it is now. The whole slogan about our slogan about you're in good hands was created by. The slogan about you're in good hands was created in 1950 because it was by Davis Ellis, who was a sales executive, and the way it came was he used to use that slogan. Well, he used to use that quote for his wife, who when they were having a baby. So it just kind of stuck there, and that's how it came about to be. So an overview of what we're going to talk about today is basically the facts, the problem that we're facing, the solution, the event that we're going to be hosting, and also the budget. And that's how we're going to just end it up with. And then I'm just going to pass it to Rebecca, who's going to be talking about the problem.
Okay, so most of us don't know that Texas is actually the #1 in frequency, deaths, injuries, and costs when it comes to tornadoes. Most people think it's Oklahoma or Kansas, but it's actually Texas. In this graph, there's a lot going on. The top line is going to be the overall region in the southern states, how many tornadoes we have per year. I went ahead and outlined Texas. We are #1 for the southern states. And as you can see by that second line, that is our average number of tornadoes per month. In this one, there's also a lot going on. I want to focus on the cost, though. In the cost, Oklahoma is #1, but as you can see, Texas follows by #2. We had $1.2 billion in damage in Wichita Falls, which is just a couple hours away from us. Also, the fourth one was also Texas, which is in Lubbock, which is, of course, our Raiders. They had $0.7 billion in damage, which is a pretty significant amount. So that brings me back to my original statement where I said Texas is the #1 in costs when it comes to tornadoes. We have an average of 132 tornadoes per year in Texas. In December 2006, we had a record-breaking 27 tornadoes all in one day. That's not even our most significant statistic. We had, in 67 of December, we had over 125 tornadoes within a 5-day period, all in Texas. And on December 26, 2015, we had a tornado in was going over 180 miles per hour. 11 people died. We had over 2,000 homes and buildings destroyed. There was $1.2 million of damages. We classified this as an EF4 tornado, and for those of you that do not know what that means, the EF4 tornado is pretty significant, as we can see on our scale. We classify tornadoes by how much damage they cause and the cost. An EF4 is pretty significant, as you can see. There's barely any wall structures remaining after an EF4 strikes. What I thought was pretty outstanding was it only occurs about 2%, and that's a pretty amazing statistic that happened here in Dallas. As you can see, this was the radar during our tornado. Dallas is the redder area. That means there's a severe tornado warning going on. I also want to talk about the misconceptions of tornadoes. There are a lot of them. Most people think that if you're in a trailer home or anything like that, that's a safe place to go. You can go to your bathroom, anything like that. That is false. You need to get out of that home and find the closest building that is actually on the ground, and you need to get there immediately. Also, another misconception is if you are in a car, hiding under a tollway is a safe place. That is completely false. You need to find a building. You need to get to the lowest level of the ground. A watch versus a warning. A lot of people don't know the difference. A tornado watch means a tornado has actually not been sighted. There's a severe thunderstorm that could lead to a tornado. That's why we have a watch. The warning means a tornado has actually been sighted and has touched ground. And I know from personal experience, when I get the notification on my phone, I am the first to ignore that. I'm just like, whatever, it's a tornado, pass. But we need to pay attention to that because a tornado has touched ground, and that is pretty scary. School drills. We do not have any kind of drill set up across the company. Companies, we just have school drills, and they're not even technically required for schools. We just sometimes have them yearly at our smaller schools. So really getting bigger companies to have drills and requiring schools to actually have drills should be a big importance for this. And what I thought was amazing was over 50% of Americans are unprepared for tornadoes. They don't have kits, anything like that. All we know is to go to the bathroom and hide, and is that really effective when a tornado hits? If it actually hits your house, is being in a bathroom with nothing with you gonna help you when your house is completely destroyed? And on that note, I'm gonna pass it off to Irva, and she's gonna discuss a little bit about what we can do to solve that problem.
All right, thank you. So we will focus on training. First and foremost, we will be focusing on training. We will implement a training program we'll be implementing a training program and enforcing every location open to the general public to actually meet these requirements. So we need to have people trained. We need to have staff know what to do. If you're at a mall, what are you going to do? Where are you supposed to head? We don't know. So that's one of the things we want to do. And as Rebecca mentioned, some schools are the ones that actually have some drills, but even they do not have regulated drills. And if school is the only place you can be kind of safe, what are you going to do anywhere else? And another thing we want to do is raise awareness, because again, as Rebecca mentioned, 50% of Americans are unprepared. They're not prepared for tornadoes. They don't know what to do, and most of the things that they kind of know, that's not even true. So we definitely want to focus on that. And our training will focus on making emergency preparedness kits. This includes whistles, small radios, flashlights, canned food, some water, power bars, phones, first aid kits, and we can just have this referring to malls, we could have a single kit in every store. That would be quite helpful. And I've worked in retail before. We don't have any kind of training. If I was working and something happened, I wouldn't know what to do. And I wouldn't know what to do with the people either. And we also want our employees, our trained people, to know what safe places are. For example, if you're at a mall, you have to go to the ground floor. Or if you're in any building, any large building, just get to the ground floor. But in places like malls where it's just held up by, the outside is like barely safe, but once that tornado hits and that pressure gets in, the building is going to collapse, and you have no way of getting out once that happens. So we need to focus on training people to know what to do, how to get people out. Recently, Denton School District actually had a tornado drill in their school, and they were able to get 100 people into safe locations within 4 minutes. I'm not saying that we can do that, especially for people who are not trained, but if we do have proper training, proper staff trained, and we have raised awareness, we can definitely, I think, have that as a somewhat realistic goal. We also want to practice drills with at least our employees. For example, a thing that people need to know is to shut off your utilities, like turn off that electricity. If there's a spark, there could be an explosion. In case of a gas leak, don't use any matches. That's also one of the reasons we want to have a flashlight in our kit instead of matches. And for awareness, we want to do #Tornado Week. This hashtag actually already exists. It's similar to Shark Week, and there's actually a show for this as well. But this hashtag was created by the Weather Channel about 3 years ago, and it kind of gained momentum and just became a bit popular, at least amongst the people who actually used Twitter at the time. So we want to market through social media. We also want to use flyers for people who are not familiar with social media. We do have quite an amount of people who do not do social media. And movies and commercials. So for movies, if you're at a movie theater and I don't know if you guys go to movie theaters early, I always do, 15 minutes or so early, and you see a commercial that's kind of about tornadoes. You could learn a thing or two. It's pretty good. And guess what? You can't switch it off. So you're going to have to sit and watch it. And commercials. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Allstate. We have that mayhem guy who just says, to protect you from mayhem, like me. He's quite a character, and we want to have a commercial with him because Allstate does cover tornado damages. So just let y'all know. You could switch. And we also want to have events to promote awareness and get people to know some stuff. And we kind of have one event in mind right now, and to talk about that, I will be passing it on to Jocelyn, our event coordinator.
So, Healing in the Heartland was a very good, successful relief benefit concert in Oklahoma that happened like 2 years ago. It was classified as an EF5 tornado, so we had an EF4. So this was a bit more than what we had, but they raised about $6 million and all for everything. And they had Blake Shelton as the performer, so he had a few people join him to perform and raise money, so we kind of want to do something like that for our event. Okay, so it's going to be family friendly, so that means anybody can go, kids, grandmas, everybody. So we're going to have tornado awareness booths. These are going to be basically any booths that are going to have like practice drills and videos, how to be more safety, also like and on hands like tornado simulators, that way you can see how it actually is, videos and everything like that. We're going to have food trucks for our food. Basically any local restaurants can come out and help instead of us catering, which is going to help with our budget. And like I mentioned before, we're going to have Blake Shelton as a performer because he was very successful in his previous events that he hosted. So we are aiming to have him again. That way we can be successful and raise about, again, $6 million for them. So for our sponsors, we are going to have the City of Dallas help us with like security and everything like that. We're going to have Salvation Army. They usually are the first ones to go out for these things, for tornadoes. They help all the victims with anything. And for the last one, we're going to have 106.1 KISS FM. They're going to be there to sponsor us, as in advertising us through the radios and stuff, to help us get more people out to the event. And all our proceeds will go to well, half of it will go to the American Red Cross because to help with the awareness and they help the victims. Usually they're the ones to help them. People who have been hit by the tornado, they're the first ones who help people. And they'll be our non-profit organization. So, and half the other stuff will go to the Allstate, which will help with the awareness. And now I'm going to give it to Lima to talk more about the budget.
All right, so for the budget, what we're looking at, like Irva mentioned, we do need the marketing or raising awareness. So we do need money for that. So for paper advertisement, which we can have all the instructions and everything, that's going to come out to about $400. For movie theater advertisement, like Irva mentioned, we are looking at $12,105, and that's taking 10 of the AMCs around the area. And for social media advertisement, it is $0 because we can just advertise it through our Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and stuff like that. And our total for that marketing or raising awareness should be $12,505. And then for our training, like she mentioned, for the public areas, for the place reservations, it says $0 because we are planning to do it hosted at our local Allstate offices. So there are about more than 68 offices in the Dallas area. So you can find a local office near you, and that's where they're going to have it. And for the manager who's going to be training all those employees, for the fee for them, we are planning to have 60 of them and $20 per hour, and it's going to be a 3-hour-long training program, so that's going to be about $3,000, my bad. And then supplies and all the supplies will be about $1,000, and that's going to come out to about $4,000 in total. All right, so as for the event, like Jocelyn mentioned, we are going to bring Blake Shelton, and his fee is about $54,000, and that is the main the biggest one that we have. And for promotions like glasses, cups, and glow sticks, it's going to come out to about $1,320. As for the tech, which covers the stage and the lighting and all that equipment, that's going to come out to about $40,000. Like we mentioned, we are going to have food trucks, so we're not catering any food. So for that, we will have, they will bring their own, and 10% of that is also of whatever they're going to sell is also going to go to us. We're helping them, so it's local food trucks. And for the venue, we decided on Clybourne Park because that is in the heart of downtown, and they have hosted such events before, and they would be more than happy to help us out in this. And their fee is about $45,000. As for security, that we're getting help from the City of Dallas, who are one of our sponsors. It comes out to about $6,000, and in total for the event, it's going to be $146,320. And what we ask for the Dallas Chamber is for the marketing and the training, which is going to come out to about $16,505. And the estimated profit, like Jocelyn mentioned, it was really successful last time they did it, and that was about $6 million. So that is our estimated profit, and and so basically, I think we're just going to end it with, we don't want any more people just like Jose affected, and we don't want to lose any of our loved ones. And this time, we're not in Kansas anymore. We are in Texas, and tornadoes happen here as well. Thank you so much for your time. And recap. So back to what we went through. Basically, are the facts, the problem, the solution, the event, and basically we ended it with the budget. And thank you so much for your time. And yeah, we are open to question and answers. Yes.
You mentioned earlier about giving out packets, like safety packets that have phones and everything in them. What was the budget for that? How many packets would you be creating to send out?
All right, so basically his question is that for the packets that we said in our training, how much of it, how much packets are we planning to give out in the budget? What's that? No, in my budget it has. For the supplies, I said about $1,000, I think.
Should that be per bag or for all bags?
I think that's for one office. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Team 2.